4 years ago, I started a business. Today, that business has made over $17 million. But what nobody knows is that I built it from this bedroom. At the time, I was still working 9 to 5. I'm still going to school in here 9 to 5 every single day. That left me with only 2 hours a day to build the business of my dreams. But there was still one problem. I was suffocating from analysis paralysis. I wasn't sure where to start, but then I found something that would change my life forever. Today, I'm gonna tell you that story. I'm Nikolaj Petersen, and this is how I built my business. Alright, this is me in the summer of 2020. I'm 19 years old, I'm going all in on my study in Denmark, as I was told I should by everyone around me, and I'm good at it. I've got a large group of friends, I'm having a lot of fun, and by all accounts, I'm living the life of my dreams. But deep down, I know that something isn't right. Every day I go to study and I do the same shit. I take the bus for 1 hour, clock in, listen to a lot of teachers, have lunch, do some study tasks, clock out, and take the bus home again for 1 hour. This work, it leaves me feeling empty every single day. I know this isn't what I'm meant to do. I know there's something missing. Look, here's the truth, and it might be something you felt at some point too. Secretly, in the back of my head, I dream about the idea of quitting my study and starting my own business. In my free time, I'm reading business books and I'm watching YouTube videos about it, and I fantasize about being able to wake up and do whatever I want. But I keep running into the same problem. I've got no idea where to start. How do I find a good idea? What business model of all the ones people show off online actually work? And how do I take that first step? I was anxious about not following my dreams, but I was also anxious about what to do. And this is where my story changes. I finally decided to do something about my future. I now want to pursue my dreams. But every single day I come home from my study, go to the gym and end the day by doing some homework or by laying on the couch. And I keep telling myself, as soon as I've got the time, I'll get started on a business. I postpone it every single day. And that's because I simply still just don't know where to start. And it seems unrealistic to me that other people are making 1,000 times the amounts I was. So once again, I'm in analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis is a term used to describe a situation when you've got too many options. So many options you don't know what to do. I keep postponing starting. Day in, day out for months. I want to start, but I'm not sure how to, and I never do. But in late 2020, everything changed. I came across the book Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill, and it taught me all about the mindset of successful people. After reading this book, I realized I was completely lacking those same high ambitions that other successful people had. So I wrote down all of my goals for that year, what I wanted to achieve, how I could achieve it, and while writing it down, I visualized how different my life would become if it was reality. And I take the largest, most important decision of my life. I agree with myself. Tomorrow, I will start pursuing all of these goals with every single action that I do. Tomorrow I'll come home. After my study, I'll not do homework. Instead, I will spend just 1 hour taking the first step of building a business. So the next day, day 1, I sat down for 1 hour and I actually started. I still didn't know where to start, but because I made the promise to myself of starting, I just wanted to find some random idea. Therefore, I went online and found a YouTube video of a young guy who made money with dropshipping. And so I tried replicating it without knowing anything. Day number 2, I come home from study and I do the same thing, taking another step forward with my business. Day number 3, I do it again. And at this point, I just can't stop because now I think it's extremely fun. I even started waking up earlier before my study to spend some more hours hours on my business and I get addicted to it. I can't stop. Now finally the progress also starts to happen. I bought my first domain, I created a logo I was proud of, I built my first Shopify store, and I researched every single thing about how to perfect it. I created my first ads ever on Facebook and saw as many YouTube videos as humanly possible about how to do it. I was starting to get how everything worked, and I loved the feeling of building something from scratch. After a month of dedicated work, I was about to launch my first ever e-commerce store. And I was excited because I knew when I launched my business, my life would become incredible, just as all the other YouTubers online told me. And after 24 hours of the ads being live, my results were 0 sales. I'd spent over a month building this perfect site and nothing happened. All the other people online were telling me about how fast their life changed from 0 to millions, but suddenly I couldn't get one single order. And I was actually starting to think whether the e-commerce YouTubers were lying about their numbers, because it definitely wasn't as easy as they made it sound. But I kept the ads running. Day 2, 0 sales. Day 3, 0 sales. Day 4, I was left with a decision. At this point, I had spent around $400 on ads without getting a single sale, and only had around $1,000 to my name. Therefore, I simply couldn't afford spending my money like this. Meaning, either I could turn off the ads and stop doing e-commerce, take the loss of $400 and walk away from dropshipping. Or I could let the ads run, gamble some more of my money and see if the ads simply needed some more time to get sales. In my decision, I looked at all the other people doing well and came to the conclusion, yes, they might be smarter than me, and sure, they might have spent more time doing this business. But in the end, if they can, so can I. And mostly, I was actually frightened that if I quit now, I would become one of those people that gave up every single time they faced adversity. And that was such a scary thought to me. On day 5, I got my first ever sale on a Shopify store from Susan, who ordered a product worth $400. And the same day I got another sale worth $250. I had just made $650 in a day. And suddenly I was making money and had a real business. I kept reinvesting everything into the business, and I dove deep into all about e-commerce through books, podcasts and YouTube. And fast forward a few months, I had generated over $35,000 revenue. And my friends and family were applauding me. I even got into the local newspaper with the title, "Nikolai has found the way." But the issue, I definitely hadn't found the way. Something wasn't making sense in my business. Even though I had made over $35,000 in sales, I wasn't making any profit. Therefore, I decided to try a new product, and it didn't work either. And a new product, it didn't work either. And after 8 months, I felt like I was really good at e-commerce, but I had tried to start 7 different brands in the US without any success. At this point, I had barely anything left and I was back at ground zero. So I took a step back. I analyzed the e-com space and looked at all I had done. Then I came to the most important conclusion in my business career. Every single profitable e-com brand I knew from Denmark had great photos on their site, but more importantly, they had an actual good product. Looking back, all I had done was to take shitty products from China, low quality images from the supplier, and use them on my site for the US market. After all, this was exactly what everyone online I saw was doing. So surely this approach was the correct one. With my results in mind, I chose to follow my own gut. Let me explain. I wanted to do e-commerce with the lean principles of dropshipping without having inventory. But I also wanted to sell high quality products and build an actual brand. Essentially, I wanted to take the best of both worlds from dropshipping and branded e-com and combine it into one. 3 days after that decision, I was ready to launch my first branded e-commerce store in Denmark. And the very first day of launching my ads, I went to the gym as always, and while there I got my first order. Then I got another one in the same session and my heart, it dropped. These numbers were better than I had ever seen in my life. And I remember telling my parents when I came home, "This is too crazy, you don't understand." Back in the US, I would die for an ROI on my ads of 3x. It was my biggest dream that entire year. Now on day number 1, with this new approach, my ROI was 12x. And I felt like I had just become a millionaire. All those days of waking up at 6 in the morning, testing new products and upskilling myself was a direct result of that. And I felt like my time had finally come. But these numbers quickly turned into the feeling of fear. I knew I had to capitalize on this opportunity, and I knew I had to do it in the best way possible. This felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Therefore, I had to make another decision in my life. Should I go all in here, or should I follow the same path as my friends who had jobs and were studying and playing it safe? And then I remembered why I started in the first place. I wanted to build something of my own. I wanted to build my own business and something for myself so that I could dictate my own life. And this golden opportunity, I felt like I knew I would regret it when I was old and looking back and would wonder, what if? So I went all in. I spent all the hours I possibly could. I started saying no to events with family and friends, full speed ahead. And well, the rest is history. Fast forward 3.5 years, and that was the last time I ever doubted myself. I never looked back, and I've continued to build multiple ecom brands ever since. And I ended up building 5 different ecom brands who, as of today, have made a total of $17 million. And I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that it was all easy or predictable from there. I failed a ton, more than most people, but looking back, the most important thing I did was to take that first step and write my goals down and decide to take action. And yes, it took me around 8 to 9 months before I got my first profitable ecom store, but I never looked back since. I knew if other people could succeed, so could I. And this journey is why I chose to launch my own mentorship program, Scaling With Ecom. We've helped over 400 people do e-commerce with my framework, that lean one I told you about, and we've already had a ton of people get life-changing results. People are already doing millions with that proven framework. If you want to take your current ecom brand to new highs, or you want to start on your ecom journey, click the link in the description and maybe we can help you.